Words About Books, Season 3. We've made it a whole 2 years. Woo! I hope you're excited as I am. I am, of course, Nate, and I am joined by my co-host, the world's hairiest man, Ben. How's it going?
Didn't realize this was the first episode of Season 3.
It is.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So today, we're talking about the final book in the Thrawn trilogy. We're starting off Season 3 with a bang, just like we started off Season 1 with a bang. I hope you're ready to talk about some Thrawn.
We are not talking about Thrawn. And let me tell you why. Because if I have calculated correctly, this episode will come out January 2nd.
Right?
Okay, so I gave you the option of we just skip a week, which we've never done, or we cover some random book that kind of relates to Words About Books in a roundabout way.
Yeah, Thrawn. The Last Command.
It's not Thrawn. I'll be real with you.
Oh.
I have not even picked up Thrawn yet. I don't even own a copy.
Oh my god,
I have not
dude.
even remotely started reading Thrawn.
You didn't spend your Christmas reading Thrawn to prepare for this podcast.
Nope. Nope. I'm actually going to be out of town most of the week leading up to this episode going out. So,
wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so
thanks for ruining everything. All right. So what book are we talking about?
So we do this Twitch stream that none of you watch.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I know. I see the numbers. I know who's listening, and none of you watch the stream.
Yeah, Brett, you jackass.
Got eyes on Brett. Yeah. But what we've been doing on the stream recently is trying to play the video game Aliens Fireteam Elite, which is based on the popular Alien movie franchise by director Ridley Scott. Now, we've been having a lot of fun with it on stream, and what we try to do on our Twitch stream is we focus on either video games that have book tie-ins, or we've been thinking about branching out into just video games that have some really interesting writing behind them. Something, it's book adjacent. There is a book tie-in for Aliens Fireteam Elite, and it is called Aliens Infiltrator by Weston Ochse. Ochse. I'm sorry, I didn't look it up ahead of time. I forgot.
So what you're saying is...
Ochse?
What you're saying is we're going to dive into the world of aliens and their Alpha Chad Marines. Ben. I have in my possession a supplement that is just a whole bunch of caffeine and probably some oregano called Alpha Chad. And I think you're supposed to mix it into a drink. But, Chad is Chad over here. Just inhale it. And what's going on right now is you are making me wait for some reason when we should be talking about Alpha Chad Marines killing some bugs. What's going on?
So, I was actually trying to look up how to pronounce the author's name, but
unimportant. We've already established it's Ox.
It's Ox. It sounds powerful.
Ox. Powerful. Yeah. It's a big, meaty animal. A beast.
One of the side effects that has happened on the stream that many listeners may not be aware of is that Nate, who under most circumstances is something of a coward, unconfrontational, takes great pride in the fact that he would be in the back lines of any armed conflict. But when Nate got a taste of what it would be like to be a space marine, he went absolutely fucking insane.
My dad was a Marine, my granddad was a Marine, and now I'm a space Marine.
Is that true?
That is 100% true. All three of those things are true statements.
Okay. I will eventually highlight clips of this together and put it on YouTube, but Nate has gone so out of control that we've come dangerously close to dying and have died a couple of times.
You just pull yourself up by your bootstraps if you die, okay?
That's what he did.
Yeah.
And
we don't have time for you to die. Get back in the fight. You've got to kill some aliens.
Yep.
Yeah, I started out as a doctor on this. Lame. Absolutely lame. You know what's better than a doctor? A dude with a shotgun. And he just charges in there and just blasts the face off of other people all over the place. Robots, aliens, people I don't like, whatever.
When it comes to treating injuries, sometimes the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah. Hey, you cannot have COVID if you don't have a face. Checkmate. Can't have sepsis. Your heart valve defect or whatever, not important if your face is all the way over there full of shotgun shells.
COVID can't survive in a room where I am actively running a flamethrower in front of me.
Yeah.
Those water droplets will evaporate before they ever touch my admittedly fragile but still chadly mucous membranes.
Goddamn right. Also, the mucous membranes are unbelievably hairy.
So we thought it might be fun as a light Christmassy episode to cover officially and not just on the stream Aliens Infiltrator. So Aliens Infiltrator acts as a prequel to the Aliens Fireteam Elite video game. In the video game, it's a 3-person co-op shooter where you fight horde after horde of aliens, and you walk through a story. If you're familiar with the Aliens movies, it's very tropey, it's very fan servicey. I enjoy it.
It turns out that the evil corporation is breeding aliens like they have been for the past several movies, and also they're unnecessarily evil. There's also some robots in there. You got to shoot them. The most dangerous thing on the planet is a wrench. If you get hit by one of those, it's game over. You might as well just restart because you're not coming back from that one.
Nate's a little bitter about the wrench.
Yeah, and then there's also the trope of if you have a 3-person team, as long as one of them makes it to the finish line alive, you win.
Well, I can tell you, that ain't how the book works.
Well, as I understand, and I didn't read this book because I hate reading. I'm too busy lifting and eating bacon.
Lifting and eating bacon.
At the same time.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
You gotta get that protein in there.
I get that protein. Bet you have great skin.
But yeah, as I understand it, this book doesn't have any manly man Chad Space Marines. Is that right?
Well,
they're not over there
that's half
saving the day?
That's half right. So it does have people who used to be Space Marines who have since moved on to civilian careers. Mostly they're older
washouts, losers,
wow.
Garbage. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
I mean,
Hoorah!
That's what they say in the book. Like,
yeah, and at my granddad's funeral.
Okay. that got real kind of quick.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is the book begins with a character, actually the only character I think, that survives into the video game, Dr. Timothy Honecker.
Ah, that asshole.
Yeah. So Dr. Honecker is kind of a nerdy guy. He's always had like a cushy corporate job. He's never been off of Earth. I forget what they call it exactly. He's a
pathetic. That's what they call it.
If you thought we gave sociologists a hard time, I can't wait to hear what Nate does with this. He's a theoretical archaeologist. So
that sounds like he just doesn't want to roll up his sleeves and get in the mud. He's worse than H.P. Lovecraft. He's not even doing the archaeology. He's just like, in a boardroom somewhere like, I wonder if that maybe this stuff was built by this civilization. I'm not going to go there, but like, come on, dude. And from what I've experienced from the game is that is accurate. You're walking through some ruins and he's like, "Oh, who could have built this?" Like, that's your job. That's your job. I'm doing your job, and I'm getting paid for my job. I should be getting your paycheck too, buddy.
Who's editing this?
You're editing this. Good luck. I can see the sound is just...
I was going to say, there was a certain point in that rant where I was like, I think I'm going to start the cut here.
Words about books.
Words about books. It's like NPR. Pick us up. What are you waiting for? We need to be syndicated on national radio. You've already got book shit on NPR. We could do that.
Yeah, we can talk about Alien Infiltrator, I think is what this is called.
Aliens
by the
Infiltrator.
Oxman.
By Weston Ochse. So, Honecker, theoretical archaeologist. I have no idea what that could possibly have entailed. He's apparently like
He's not rolling up his sleeves. He's not getting in the dirt. He's not doing what needs to be done. Theoretically, he is a lazy piece of who's not worth the money that he's getting paid.
He's definitely not worth the money that he's getting paid. I can agree with you on that. But this fulfills a trope I think we've seen a couple of times now, that any scientist or any doctor, like PhD, is equivalent to any other PhD.
That checks out. I don't see what's wrong with that.
Because he
Science
never
is
does.
magic.
I'm going to tell you right now. He's a theoretical archaeologist, which to me it sounds like, I don't know.
Well, hold on. Let me give you an example of theoretical archaeologist. Ready? Okay. So imagine that you're in like a giant stone house, and there's like columns on the outside, right?
So help me God, if this turns into and you look at the back wall,
and and there's like gargoyles, right? Like stone gargoyles guarding the door, and like let me pose you a theoretical question, Ben. Who built this house? And that's it. I'm going to break. I'm going to go to lunch. Go ahead. Send me my check. That's my job. Let me know if you need me to ask you some questions about other architecture and other civilization.
So my guess is that his job is essentially like, what do they call those people now who
Nerds.
Speculate on alien life?
Oh.
What it might be, like exobiologists or something like that.
Oh, I was going to say that guy on the History Channel who goes with the hair is aliens.
No, people who speculate that there's animals on other planets, not people who speculate that we were created by aliens.
Okay.
I think that's what he's doing. He's doing like modeling or something for Weyland-Yutani, which is the evil corporation.
That everyone knows is evil.
Weyland-Yutani has told him this is how they get him out to this remote space station in the middle of nowhere, which is where he's going.
Nothing bad will happen.
I'm sorry, no,
here.
it's a planet. It's a planet in the middle of nowhere.
I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Weyland-Yutani has never willingly sacrificed an entire colony to alien facehuggers in order to see what would happen.
Yeah, this does carry on the proud tradition of an experiment not really being an experiment. I'll get to that in a second. But so Honecker has come to Pala Station because he wants to work with actual alien artifacts, which Weyland-Yutani promises him they have found out here. It's
Why
weird.
doesn't he just theorize about what alien artifacts might be like?
Well, see, because Honecker wants to be like you, Nate. He wants to pull himself up by his bootstraps. He just needs some of that new product you've been working on, butterchad.
Yeah.
A powdered substance supported by no less than 2 clinical studies. Butterchad. It'll make you big. Honecker wants, he's the hero. This is his hero's journey, okay? He wants to be hands-on. He doesn't want to be theoretical. He wants to have an adventure. He wants to better himself. So he comes to Paula Station, where he will never, for the course of the entire book, see or touch an alien artifact. Just forget that he's an archaeologist. I don't know why they wanted him to come here. He's grossly unqualified for the work they immediately have him do, and they never let him see the ruins.
Yeah, he's not worth the money, okay? They would have sent him to those ruins and he would have just been like, who could have built these?
So
all right, I'm done.
What they have him do instead is he's immediately dropped off. He gets processed by a guy named Rollins, and there's two kinds of people on this station, basically. Well, there's three, because there were three kinds of people in the movie. There's security. Sorry, not Marines. Security. There's
the Chads, the Virgins.
Well, we're getting there. There's the scientists, who are ostensibly the reason that Palace Station was even founded. They're studying something here. Then there's the communication specialists. I think those are the only three jobs a person can have on this station.
That sounds legit.
So security drops Honecker off at the science station.
And they do science by rubbing science together, and science comes out. This checks out.
You're more right than you may realize.
Oh my God.
So
Jesus Christ.
Honecker is placed with these scientists. All of these scientists are biologists, chemists, people who work with, living tissue. And Honecker is a theoretical archaeologist.
Checks out.
He's going to be helping them with their experiments. Their experiments basically entirely consist of taking this strange substance. They call it pathogen. I don't think they know what that word means.
Well, that's because they got scientists who don't understand biology.
So
Frank over there, he's an anthropologist. That guy, he has a doctorate, but it's in English. That guy over there, he's got a degree in chemistry, but it's an undergrad. He's actually our unpaid intern.
So, Nate, I'm gonna venture a piece of medical knowledge. Maybe I'm going outside my boundaries here, but as a layman, I am not trained in biology or chemistry at all. To me, the definition of a pathogen, if I remember my 8th grade biology correctly, is some life form or substance or something that enters the body and is harmful to it.
Yes, I will allow this definition.
Okay, that's not what the pathogen is.
Okay, again, we got doctors on this, but none of them are actually qualified. We just grabbed anyone who had a doctorate.
The pathogen is this goo. It's a black goo. And what
it does, goo.
They should have called it goo. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the ooze. It's very much the ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It might actually fits with this universe. Lean all the way into the stupid.
So what the pathogen does is when it comes into contact with a life form, it mutates it. And
just like the ooze.
Yeah, no, it is literally the ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Literally, that's what it is.
Hey, Fox, I don't know if you have the rights, but
they do.
If you want to throw some turtles into this ooze and have them fight some xenomorphs, there you go. That's a freebie from Words About Books to you. But if you want to throw us some money or like a sponsorship deal or like a TV series, I mean, we're just to let you know.
20th Century Fox, which is now Disney. If you want to buy us a coffee.
That's right. Yeah, Disney, who we've had great things to talk about in the past. If you want to buy us like a lot of coffee.
We're not getting that Disney sponsorship.
Damn it.
So they rub the pathogen on a creature. It mutates, but it always is a beneficial mutation. It always makes the creatures...
Well, hold on. Before you say this... before you explain the beneficial mutation, is there also a side effect that makes it a murder machine?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It always makes it more aggressive.
So the Green Goblin serum from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah, it always makes it more, or ether from Edenverse Volume 1, available now on Amazon.
It's still $1 on Amazon if you wanna
Maybe we'll
go
have a
in.
special Christmas sale, make it 50 cents. We would get literally no money. Oh god, Amazon takes a cut. So yeah, rub the goo on an animal, turn it into a monster. Wouldn't you know though, they're gonna wind up rubbing that goo on some xenomorphs, and they're gonna turn them into super xenomorphs. Yep.
And then it's gonna fall out of control, and then Alpha Chad Nate's gonna have to go in there and solve all their problems. Well, not their problems. They're dead. But he's going to have to fix their mess.
I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to make fun of this book. Probably won't come as a shock to any regular listener or anyone who has engaged with the stream. That being said, I like this book. It's dumb, but it's dumb in the way that Alien, the movie, is dumb. And I like that movie, having actually just watched it for the first time.
For the first time.
It reads like a cheesy B-movie sci-fi horror thing, which is what it is. The only complaint I really have from like a writing perspective is this is a 340-page book, maybe.
Nice.
And it's got giant font. And the chapters are often like 4 pages long.
And there are some pictures thrown in there.
There's no pictures, but what I'm saying is it's a short book, which you would expect for a video game tie-in. It's probably for kids.
What you're saying is this is single-handedly accelerating the climate crisis.
I don't know. I'm not saying that at all. I don't even know how you got there. That Alpha Chad's impeding your brain cells.
It's strengthening the brain cells that live.
Yeah. It's survival of the fittest in my brain. Long division. That.
Real quick, let me just read this amazing quote. At some point in this book, someone literally remarks that man is the real monster. I'm giving it a positive rating in spite of this. Take that how you will.
Some genius must have said that.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a quote by some guy named Ben on Goodreads.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty obvious what's going to happen here. The reason I brought all that up, there are like 8 named characters that all have an equal amount of page time, and they each have their own little backstory and thing they're trying to do.
Oh, good. I'm sure that it's so as we were talking about earlier, this is some Game of Thrones level sci-fi in space type thing, right? Like they've all got these plots within plots. They're all like politicking for that job.
Surprisingly, it's more like the movie Clue.
That's a good movie.
But with aliens.
You're kind of selling me on this now, actually.
I don't know if you enjoy the game, or if you have any interest in the game, or if you have any interest in Alien the movie, I could recommend it. I really would only recommend it to somebody who wants to play the game, but it's not bad. It's not bad for what it is.
Perhaps someone who would want to watch other people chad their way through the game.
That's true.
Yeah. We're talking about you, Brett.
Yeah, Brett.
Jackass.
Weston Ochse does a good enough job. I mean, he does exactly what is asked of him, and I would read something else by him. The author is not the problem. I don't know who chose to have all these freaking characters, but everybody's referenced in the game at some point. There's all this lore all over the place. So it's another one of those books by committee that you had to hire an author to actually write the words on the page. But the story was planned out in advance. I'm going to skip ahead. So they're rubbing goo on stuff, and it's going crazy. One of the guys Honecker works with is named Cruz. Cruz is a former space marine. There's a handful of former space...
Is this by chance a descendant of Terry Crews?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. So this is like an Alpha Chad. This is the exception to the rule of the washout space marine.
Cruz is a former space marine who got out of the Space Marines, got his degree, and became a scientist.
So I was going to say I don't want to keep interrupting you, but I kind of do. But Disney, I guess, because it's not 20th Century Fox... Get Terry Crews in an Alien movie. Lean all the way in.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Terry Crews looks like the character.
Hell yeah.
Crews is a former Space Marine. There's a lot of former Space Marines on the ship. And Nate, you would be pleased to know that they all get together and hang out, and they've all been hoarding weapons because they all have a feeling that something is going to go south on this weird operation.
Oh my god. So they're aware of the genre they're in.
Yes. They know that whatever they're doing with these animals, rubbing this goo on it, and the fact that they're bringing up Xenos at some point. They brought up Xenos once before Honecker got there, and they had to be put down. It went bad. So they're going to do it again. And so the former Space Marines are like, look, we need to be ready for when this goes down. We need to, they form a little private club, and they start preparing for just if something goes wrong. And Crews is one of them. Crews is also suffering from PTSD for sure. He was like the only survivor of a mission that went south. They were all killed by some terrible Lovecraftian horror, and he ran away.
Well, hold on. What? A Lovecraftian horror? What?
Well, I say Lovecraftian horror because it had a bunch of tentacles. It was some alien monster. It wasn't a capital A alien.
So this isn't like okay, is this a Xeno?
I don't think it was a Xeno that killed his crew. I think it was some other alien life form.
Huh.
The Space Marines go around to the colonies and help them and defend them from all kinds of stuff. There are hostile alien creatures out there. The catch is they find a lot of alien life out in the universe. They don't find any intelligent life. There's plenty of dangerous creatures out there, but no sentient ones that they know of. And that's where the Prometheus stuff comes in. So that's what Honecker really wants to get his hands on. He wants to get his hands on some sort of actual civilization. The capital A aliens, the xenomorphs, they're described as having chimpanzee level intelligence. They're semi-sentient. They can behave in sophisticated ways, they can communicate, but they're not like tool-making technology types.
Yeah, and as established in a documentary, humans are the only animal on Earth that makes roads and manipulates the environment to the level that we do. Therefore, we were created by alien life. Checkmate, science.
My favorite thing about Ancient Aliens, I might as well engage with it since this is our relaxed episode, is how they're always like, and I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not trying to make a point about religion or anything, but they're always like, all these people say that like God created us, which is obviously ridiculous because there's no such thing as God. But aliens, they must be describing aliens. No human mind can imagine a thing that doesn't exist and describe it. Everything we talk about has to actually exist. So, aliens. But yeah.
I think that maybe you just don't have an imagination, and also you need to take a shower.
Well, if you watch Alien or you know anything about the Alien movies, we are created by ancient aliens. So they were right, but they were just lucky. They weren't right because they did science. They were just lucky.
Well, as we established, science is kind of just luck in this universe. You rub some goo on stuff, and then you hope for the best.
They did make one major discovery that's relevant to the video game. Would you like to know what it is?
Yes.
So, you know how in the first movie, the facehugger gets cut, and the acid bleeds through like 3 spaceship decks?
Yes.
So in the game, you're going to be fighting hundreds of these things, thousands of these things. So you're going to be hitting the acid all the time, but you might notice in the game, the acid only does a small amount of damage to your character.
Oh my god.
Do you know why that is, Nate? It's not a plot hole. They thought about that.
Do they also explain why it doesn't do a lot of damage to the ship?
You know?
Okay, so they didn't modify the acid blood in some way, so it must be they wore armor that's resistant to acid.
You're absolutely correct. They used their first round of xenomorph experimentation to develop acid-resistant armor, which they then sold to the Space Marines,
So they don't realize that, like, chemists are a thing.
They do, but even chemists sometimes find it helpful to have, like, an actual compound found in nature and then try to synthesize it, which is what they did here.
But they don't have to also propagate a species that wants to kill us and then presumably pour acid blood on people we don't like.
Well, you need to have a couple, right? I mean, if you want to make antivenom, you need a couple of snakes.
Yeah, but if we're gonna make antidote, you don't get like an army of snakes. You don't go. You don't go to like Snake Island or the tomb with the Ark of the Covenant and just grab a bunch of vipers.
Okay, I was gonna say they didn't intend to make a bunch of snakes until you said you don't go to Snake Island. So about Snake Island.
Oh God.
There's a ship in orbit around the planet. There's two main locations, and you may have noticed this in the game. There's a spaceship called the Katanga. It's more of a space station, actually. A really big thing, like a permanent living space.
Katanga sounds like a Chad name for a space station.
It sounds like katana, which is what all Chads have at their disposal at all times. Definitely not a virgin's weapon.
Katana actually sounds like something that a Chad would say to mispronounce katana.
Or put that katanga down before I knock that fedora off. The Katanga is a space colony that was infected by Xenos. Totally overrun. A breeding population of Xenos exists there. I have no idea what they eat, but there is a stable population of Xenos on the Katanga, and so they have spent a lot of money towing the Katanga into orbit around this planet so that the scientists will have a steady supply of Xenos. So whenever they need more Xenos, they go up in a little shuttle to the Katanga, wrangle up a few of them.
Is it already overrun?
Down. Yep, completely.
Okay, and they're not like, okay, what we should do is we should, like, jettison the majority of the space station into the sun, but we could keep, like, this section right here so that we could still have a supply.
Well, they need to keep the queen.
Okay.
Because the queen makes eggs.
So they could keep the queen and then jettison the rest of it into the sun.
Weyland-Yutani, look, Xenos are relatively hard to get. People are not. So I don't care how many people we lose, as long as we've got a steady supply of Xenos.
What are we doing with these Xenos? And also, how did it get overrun? We're rubbing goo on them. Okay.
The Katanga was overrun long before the story ever started. It's just a space station that somehow happened to get infected that Weyland-Yutani found out about, and they grabbed it. And they were like, oh, I could use that.
Okay. And so this has been overrun for a long time. So, yeah, what do they eat?
I have no idea. Never discussed.
Okay. So I'm guessing that they, like, eat each other or something.
Here's the thing about the goo, right? So the goo, when they don't have Xenos, they just rub the goo on whatever random animal they can catch.
That's how you science, baby!
Right. So they have rubbed goo on a bunch of rats. Some of those rats got out.
Oh my god. It's just like Resident Evil 2.
Probably. I've never played it.
Me neither, but I know that rats infected with G-virus or T-virus or whatever infect the city.
Rats are infected, right? Also, there's a little bit of corporate espionage going on. This is subplot number, 3.
Well, of course. You can't just have Weyland-Yutani having, grossly or even criminally poor containment procedures. That would be ridiculous.
Right. So there is another corporation that wants to map out this space station because they're planning on stealing the research or something. It's very valuable research.
We're gonna steal some of these Xenos and question mark profit.
The goo is what is really valuable. The goo is why we're here.
Could you put the Xenos into a blender and extract goo?
The goo doesn't come from the Xenos. Dun dun dun. That's the twist.
But
The
what if the
goo,
Xenos are affected by the goo? Can we
the
pull it
goo,
out of them?
they are affected by the goo, but we don't know how yet. We haven't rubbed enough of it on them. So
That's
let
fair.
let me tell you what happens. So there's this dude, right? And he was like blackmailed into helping this corporation, and he plants some sort of device that's going to map out the facility. Well, communications finds out, and then the communications guy confronts this dude, and he's like, I'm going to double blackmail you. You're going to pay me now too, because because if you want to get away with this, then I'm not going to tell him. And that's one too many blackmails for this man to handle. And
I'm gonna double blackmail you.
He kills the communications officer, beats him to death, bashes his head off the corner of a desk. I mean, the dude snapped. It was pretty badass. Now he's like,
was he
using
Alpha Chad?
He might have been using Alpha Chad.
There's an endorsement for this product, guys.
Blackout rage is a side effect.
Yeah.
So
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. So now, like many a customer of Alpha Chad, he's got a body he's got to hide. So
it's endorsement for the product.
I don't endorse the product. I wish you'd stop using it.
It's not gonna happen, Ben. Not until we finish the fight.
Wait, that's him.
Not until we kill the Xenomorph Queen or whatever we're doing.
I'm just picturing you now, so large and muscular that you like barely fit through door frames. You're
yeah.
Just like,
I don't know why you have a hard time picturing that. Because as we've established, you can't picture something that isn't real, Ben.
That's true.
So it's got to be real.
I guess. I played racquetball with you once, and I watched you like miss hitting it off your own bounce. So this new athleticism is admittedly hard to imagine.
That was a long time ago, Ben.
It was a long time ago, Ben. There was several cases of Alpha Chat ago.
Yeah, that's how I measure time now.
Now I bounce the ball and it goes into orbit. I don't have to hit it.
God damn right.
What are we even talking about? We were talking about, oh yeah, blackmail and bodies. It's like that's what I do for breakfast. What is this guy doing?
So he's got to hide the body. Now he's some sort of supply officer.
A couch.
So he knows all the good places to shove a body. Shoves a body.
He puts a lampshade on top of it. And he just walks away.
That might have been a better option. You might remember from the game we played that Honecker ripped out his PDT chip.
Oh my god. I don't know what that is, and I don't remember that at all.
They chip all these people. They've got GPS trackers in them.
Oh yeah, we track his chip to like an empty corridor, and then the aliens come.
Yep. Because this guy and his would-be blackmailer are both chipped, it's very difficult to hide a body.
Unless you have some sort of sharp implement, and it's a body that doesn't mind being stabbed.
You are thinking like a criminal. So he does cut out the chip, and then he hides the body somewhere else. Long story short, he's immediately falls under suspicion. Honecker falls under suspicion as well because they both arrived at the station at the same time. But
it couldn't possibly be anyone else, that's for sure.
Honecker, unlike Fairbanks, the man who committed the murder, Honecker doesn't crack under interrogation in 5 seconds because
I was going to say Honecker, no one believes he could legitimately hurt anyone.
People suspect him, and they suspect him a lot, but Honecker very quickly suggests a way that they could find whatever listening device is on the station, and they find it. And then they're like, well, how did you know to find that? That could have been like a double bluff. And
triple blackmail.
Honecker's like, are you serious, dude? And then they question Fairbanks, and Fairbanks almost immediately cracks under pressure. He doesn't admit he did it, but he realizes he's going to get caught. Everybody also realizes it's him, and he just takes off. He just runs. He just runs and hides.
So I think I see where they went wrong and how rats somehow got out of containment. So when you pull someone in to interrogate them, you do it in a locked room, so if they get up to run, they're trapped in the room. Or even better, you handcuff them to something in that room, and the room is locked. So
He
if they get
wasn't-
up to run, they're handcuffed to a chair.
He was initially locked in an interrogation room. Both he and Honecker were released, and they were just monitoring them. And when they go to finally arrest Fairbanks, he takes off.
Okay. There is
he
a such
takes-
thing as house arrest.
Okay. He takes off. He hides in another storage thing.
Oh dear.
And nobody finds him, which is both good and bad. Good because, he hasn't been found. Bad because he did not think to acquire any food or water. So he's dying.
Problem that solves itself.
One of these weird rats, though,
Oh god,
comes
he's gonna
along.
eat a rat.
He's going to eat a rat. It bites him or something in the scuffle. And he figures, well, if it was toxic, I already got bit. So I got nothing to lose by eating the rat.
Yeah, that's how that works. 100% of the toxins are concentrated in the mouth. Like, you're fine.
Yep.
Yeah. There's definitely not varying levels of exposure or, like... Is this guy a scientist? No, he was a
No.
communications guy. Okay, that's why. That's why he doesn't know anything about the delicate nature of biology. Okay? He's a communications guy.
So meanwhile, Cruz is rubbing goo on this invisible lion thing. The invisible lion thing.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Invisible lion?
Yes.
What?
It's a lion that has some sort of chameleon-esque ability to blend into its surroundings.
What?
But it blends in so well that all you see is a blur, like a shimmer when it moves a little bit.
So they're borrowing from Predator, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get that Predator mojo going. All right.
Yeah. So you rub some goo on that, and it turns into a bigger and more invisible lion. It's like harder to detect.
Now you can't see it with both eyes.
Yeah. Then they get some Xeno eggs down. Because they're not stupid. They don't just bring whole Xenos down. They bring Xeno eggs down.
Yeah, we know that those aren't dangerous at all. It definitely didn't lead to the entire crew of the Nostromo being murdered.
Ripley survives.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. I forgot. If one person survives,
And the
it's
cat.
considered a win.
Ripley and the cat both survive. Checkmate.
Yeah. It's hard to argue with that.
They bring up these Xeno eggs, and I forget how exactly the goo comes into play here. I think they inject the goo into the eggs. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's how I got a daughter.
So they want Xenos, right? So how do you get Xenos?
Well, you could go to the space station and collect some, but you got all these eggs around anyway. And, those will make Xenos if you just attach them to some face to let them sexually assault someone's face and impregnate them with an alien life form that will then burst violently out of their chest cavity.
Yup.
So I'm guessing they went with plan, let's infect people and let them burst out of the chest cavity.
Hell yeah. So they round up a bunch of prisoners that were set to be executed. I think Weyland-Yutani buys them. Let's not get into the ethics of that. They put a prisoner in a cell with a Xeno egg, and they wait.
I see nothing wrong with this. They're definitely on the up and up. It's definitely not something I'm going to have to clean up later.
While they're waiting, Honecker realizes, this is like subplot number 7. Honecker realizes that one of the prisoners is his ex-girlfriend from college.
Nice.
Kind of. And
Conjugal visits, baby.
Nate, do you have any idea what her name might be from having played the game?
I think it was Monica.
It was Monica. So this is where we find out where Monica's from.
From the hood.
Monica, we find out, was Honecker's girlfriend, and he got sick of her. Like, he regrets the way he treated her. I guess he wasn't very nice to her. He wasn't mean, but she was apparently a huge people pleaser, and she was willing to do anything to make him happy, and she always agreed with him, and eventually he just couldn't take it anymore. He wanted somebody who was going to challenge him, who was going to tell him he was wrong sometimes.
Maybe send some nudes on Snapchat. I don't know.
He eventually broke up with her, and then he never found out what happened to her.
Well, hey, got some closure. Good for him.
So now he's on a mission to rescue her.
Okay.
And he goes to Cruz, who is now in charge. I forgot about that. That was subplot number 4. Cruz is in charge now. He's in charge of the lab.
All right.
And Honecker goes to him. He's like, you can't kill her. She's my ex-girlfriend from college. And Cruz is like, that can't possibly be true. The odds of that happening are astronomical.
Yeah, what do you think this is? Star Wars?
It's probably just some lady that looks like her.
And has the same name as her.
And well, they don't know her name. They refer to her as like subject number 7 or something. Honecker asks, he's like, I need to unseal the record. I need to know who she is. And Cruz is like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that's a HIPAA violation, Honecker.
It's a HIPAA violation.
You will go
exactly.
to HIPAA jail.
You go to HIPAA jail. So Honecker's like, but I gotta know. And eventually Cruz is like,
one thing ethically that Wayland Yutani will uphold is
serious
your
about
HIPAA
privacy.
rights.
Yeah. Honecker's like, I gotta know. And Cruz is like, what would you do if you knew? Why would I give you that information if you're just gonna go bust her out? Which you're not allowed to do. Long story short, he doesn't give him the name. And so Honecker goes up to the cage and he presses the intercom and he talks to her. He's like, is that you? And she's like, yeah, it's me. And he's like, this has got to be some mistake. How did you wind up like being charged with the death penalty? And that's when she tells him,
Bitch, I eat people.
kind of.
Oh my god.
She's a serial killer.
Oh my god.
And after he broke up with her, she got another guy who I think maybe abused her. I'm foggy on the details. Push came to shove, she killed him, and she liked it.
Ah, so really, this is all Honecker's fault. If he would have just stayed with her forever.
Well, she actually says, she mentions that specific situation. She says, I don't know if you would have saved me from doing it or if you just would have been my first victim. I don't know. I don't know why I like killing people. I just love killing people. And so Honecker's like, oh, okay, bye. And he leaves. And Cruz was watching. And Cruz was like, see, told you you weren't going to rescue her. And Honecker's like, no, you didn't tell me that. You told me it wasn't her. That doesn't happen in the book. That was just me adding that because Cruz was like, he totally misread that whole situation. Anyway, next day comes.
And then he
everybody gets up.
His pecs.
Everybody gets up bright and early. It is time to feed the people to the aliens, which they do. A couple days later, you get a bunch of Xenos in cages. Cool. One of the Xenos is some kind of like psychic Xeno. And 2 of the Xenos turn into spitters.
Okay.
Hear me out. So the Xenos are mutating. They're mutating because of the goo. That's how we get the unique monster spawns in the game. The spitters, the crushers, the drones,
I thought
all your favorites.
Guy with gigantic head. Oh, that was a crusher.
Bingo.
Yeah, that guy. God damn. That guy did not skip head day in the gym.
That's true.
Dude lifts with his head.
How would you strengthen the skull? Do you just crush it and it heals back thicker?
Yeah, and then you rub some goo on it, apparently.
That goo does wonders.
Or
that goo?
Alpha Chad.
That goo is Alpha Chad.
Oh my god.
This whole book is an advertisement for Alpha Chad.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Disney owes us money, some royalties for stealing our idea.
Oh, for Alpha Chad. Okay. It definitely wasn't a parody of the thing Joe Rogan sells that just got way out of hand. What the fuck is that? Brain Force?
Alpha Brain.
Is it Alpha Brain? I thought it was.
There is one that is Alpha Brain. I don't know what one he sponsors.
Yeah, I don't know what random soy protein he's hawking today, but anyway, you got Xenos now. One of them's a brain Xeno, seems to be psychically linked to the other Xenos. Think you could see where this is going.
Yeah, what happens is the Xenos, they become more intelligent through the psychic Xeno, and they realize that they're just being kept as animals, and they want more out of life than that, Ben. And so they're going to break free, they're going to get their brethren out, and they're going to go find a small corner of the galaxy to settle down until maybe one day they can finally meet back up with man once man is ready to do it. And our two species can come to... I'm just fucking with you. They're killing everyone. Let's do it.
They're killing everyone. So now we get two guys stumble into the room where Fairbanks, the traitor, ate that rat. Fairbanks is now also some kind of Lovecraftian monster. Okay. Turns out his logic on the toxins was slightly flawed. And he is some kind of Spider-Man, and I mean that like not like Tom Holland, like a spider centaur.
Oh,
He's spider on the bottom, man on the top, and he's scuttling down, and he likes to eat people. He's eating.
I mean, obviously.
He really likes to bite half their head off. That happens a lot.
Only half, though.
Only half.
He's trying to watch his figure. You don't want to eat the whole head.
Wouldn't you know, about the same time that's going on, I think. The timeline gets a little fuzzy in my head. About the same time that's going on, the brain Xeno has convinced the other Xenos to do some scheme to exploit a weak point in the cage, and the two spitter Xenos break out, and they break the brain Xeno out. All the Xenos are out, and it's time for the Marines who made the alliance, in case something obviously went wrong,
to boldly and heroically die.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. They hole up eventually, Cruz and all of them. There's another subplot I forgot to mention. One of the scientists is a hot girl, because of course she is, and Honecker's into it, because of course he is.
And then she is also a serial killer, it turns out.
She's not a serial killer. She is going to die. Spoiler. Everybody's going to die. Everybody dies except Honecker.
Oh my god.
So the aliens get out. They start rounding up people. Now they're smart. These aliens are smart, dog. So they start laying eggs, and they start bringing people in to get face hugged. They don't kill them. They capture them, and then they face hug them, and they make more Xenos.
Well,
so it's not Weyland
Yutani. That's not that smart.
Yeah, it's not Weyland Yutani breeding Xenos. Xenos breeding Xenos, which shouldn't seem as weird. I mean, obviously they would breed. I don't know why that's creepier. Anyway, the Marines mount some kind of valiant last stand. They do the thing at the end of all video game books where they play the game.
We've got to stay behind to activate the bomb. It's the only way.
Oh, no, they all get eaten. Every single one of them gets eaten.
Okay.
One by one, acid drips on a guy's foot. He's got to walk around with half a foot until he eventually dies. He does stay behind to hold him off. There's no bomb there.
They really should have gotten themselves a Master Chief Petty Officer.
So anyway, Cruz, all the Marines, they die. They manage to get to a shuttle, which is how they get to the shuttle in the docking bay, and they board the shuttle. Now, the only people left at this point are Honecker and the hot girl, and they blast off. The only place within range they can blast off to, you would think they might just go like 20 miles
Go to
down
a
the
different
road.
part of the planet. Yeah. It's a
But
big
no,
planet.
whenever you leave a planet, you got to go to another planet. Those are the rules of sci-fi. They're only
That's true.
like the whole planet is a location.
Yeah, it's a spaceship, not a planet ship.
Yeah.
Idiots.
So they blast off to the Katanga.
Which, as we know, is super safe. Definitely not full of even more aliens.
Rightio. So they get out.
Are there more aliens on the Katanga than there were on the planet they just left?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So they blast off to the Katanga, and as they're getting out, somehow
There's an alien stowed away on the
there
ship.
was one alien stowed away, and it was the one that came out of Monica.
Oh my god.
And that
Threesome.
that grabs
Oh.
the hawk girl and kills her. But before she dies, she's like, Honecker, you've got to run. You're the best of us. Please live. She doesn't say that, but it's kind of implied.
You're the best of us. And Honecker just busted out laughing like, oh, we're fucked.
I mean, he might have laughed as he was running like lightning down the other way.
And running and peeing himself, I'm sure. He looks
like
like
every
the kind of guy to pee
archaeologist we've
himself.
ever covered. And then he locks himself in a room where you will find him at the end of the third mission.
Yeah. He locks himself in a room, and that's the end of the story.
That it is.
Thank you for coming.
It's literally the end.
Yeah. All right.
It's let me see.
It could only have been better if he ended it with, "Oh my God, I can hear them coming outside of the door. Scratchy, scratchy, scratch. I'm being eaten. Ah."
So here's the last couple sentences. A claw scraped across the door again, making him jump. Sometimes to survive wasn't enough. He'd never wanted to die more than the moment he thought he was going to live. That's the end of the book.
Never wanted to die more than the moment he thought he was gonna live.
Not a bad line. Not the worst line we've ever had. I wouldn't call it a bar, but it's all right. Because again, you can't give the book any kind of real resolution.
No.
Because you got to have a game. So that's the problem with these kind of books. But for once in my life, one of the video game books we read, I went on to play the game, and I didn't hate it. Unlike some of the other video game books we read. I didn't hate Halo. Halo was okay. But yeah, that's Aliens Infiltrators. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I have a question. What are the infiltrators?
The Infiltrator. Sorry, it's Aliens Infiltrator. I think the Infiltrator was Fairbanks, the traitor, who didn't really play a large role in the story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is he actually important? Did he show up in the game?
I guess, I don't know if he shows up in the game. I guess he kind of kicks off the series of events that leads to the Xenos getting out.
Well, let's be fair that the shoddy protocols that Weyland and Yutani has in place, those Xenos were getting out one way or the other.
Yeah, it literally was like they put them inside these glass boxes, and somehow the glass was made out of tungsten, and they ran out of tungsten.
So they just started replacing it with something that will easily dissolve in acid. Let's say paper mache. We ran out of tungsten, so we've got some paper mache. Hopefully the aliens can't evolve super brains and figure that one out.
Well, I think what happened was even the tungsten glass, like when they mutated the aliens, and the aliens developed into ones that could spit the acid in like a never-ending stream. I don't think the tungsten was prepared for quite that much acid all the time, every day. So it was a flawed plan. I mean,
so you couldn't just perhaps make some sort of chemical that would not react to the acid, neutralize the acid. You had to go with tungsten and then like hope for the best, I guess. So
the issue is tungsten would have been enough for an ordinary Xeno, but these were goo Xenos.
Okay. And they didn't have any sort of extra layer of security. Like, okay, you broke out of the tungsten box, so now we're going to fill your cell block with deadly gas.
They did.
Okay.
Actually. They had like an emergency button that would fill the box with fire and destroy the Xenos. For whatever reason, when the shit hit the fan, I think the brain Xeno was like waiting for his opportunity. And when the shit hit the fan and everybody was distracted, that's when he made his move, and they were able to get to them before they could launch the countermeasures. I'm not sure.
Okay, but they don't have any countermeasures. Like, okay, that fails, so we're just gonna blow up the entire facility.
No. Well, and even if they did, the person who's in charge of the facility was very corrupt and he wasn't about to blow himself up. So.
What? A Weyland Yutani executive being corrupt? I am shocked, sir.
I don't think he was an executive. I'm pretty sure he was middle management.
Well, okay, yeah.
I don't even think... That's how you kind of knew it was going to go south. Better. I don't even think anyone important was there.
Well, yeah. Hey, as long as they can't learn to pilot ships, we're safe. Forever.
I mean, the DLC is coming out, so who knows? Who knows
how did all of the robots get there?
A solid 40% of the game is not really covered by this book at all. They mention that there is Cynthia Rodriguez, who is in charge of some operation on another part of the planet that nobody else is allowed to see. Now, of course, you will realize if you play the game, that's where they got the goo. It's in a bunch of engineer ruins. And if you don't know alien lore, the engineers are a sentient alien race that did create humanity. And they created this goo, and the Weyland Yutani is messing with it. And so I think they brought Honecker out there to study those ruins, but for whatever reason, they never let him do that.
Good call, guys.
But yes, the robots are there. The robots are working on the ruins because Weyland Yutani wants to keep the ruins super duper secret. They don't trust any of the humans to do it. They only trust their synths. And so Cynthia was put in charge to monitor that. Cynthia, of course, being an artificial intelligence herself. Spoilers.
Yeah, you couldn't have figured that one out. Her name was Cynthia.
Yeah, I do like how they purposely spell it with a C until it's time for the big reveal, and then they spell it with an S, and that made me laugh.
And also how the voice in your ear is like, "Are you telling me they were breeding the Xenos?" It's like, yeah, thought this was common knowledge.
I love the voice acting in this game. I actually, whoever plays Herrera, I love that voice actor. The lines are just so like, I don't know, they just fit. They just fit so well in that universe. And I love the soundtrack. I don't know, I enjoyed reading this book, and I'll 100% admit, so we have criticized books like this in the past for being like toys. They're like merchandise books. And it totally is. It is 100% that, but I find that whole game so just like fun and charming. And I know you get something out of it as well. I'm not entirely sure that what you get out of it is a good thing.
I get
ripped.
Yeah, you're connecting with it. I'm a little worried. Like, I never thought video games caused violence until I watched you play Aliens. I was like, oh, this is a transformation. But yeah,
oh my god. The black goo was the game all along.
You're right. Yep, that's what happened. But yeah, so as somebody who liked the game, I got into the like story of the game probably more than it was worth. I just had so much fun playing it, and the book it totally captured it. It captures the vibe of the game in a book. I think the author, I mean, he worked with what he had. I don't know how much influence he had on the story. There's probably like 4 too many subplots for the material to really carry. There's a little too much going on here. Because I skipped a lot, and I skipped a lot because it's not relevant in any way, shape, or form. It kind of reads like a game with side quests. Yeah, I would recommend it. I don't know, Nate. I mean, I would recommend it if you played the game and it sounds like something you'd want to read. I don't think I'd recommend it to anybody who's not going to play the game. I don't think I'd recommend it to like general audiences. But if you thought about buying this book, go ahead and buy it. It's super short. I read this in like a day. 340 pages. It's a short 340 pages.
Especially if you skip large chunks of it.
No, even if you don't, because they're not like, it doesn't go anywhere. It's like, okay, Fairbanks turned himself into a monster. There's a monster. That's it. He chases people around for a little while. That's it. And like the people who were spying on Weyland Yutani, who were going to attack him, they never do. I thought that's where this was going to go. I thought he was going to be the infiltrator, and there was some corporate espionage, and that's how the aliens get out. Nope. doesn't really connect. And again, I don't know who to blame for that. I don't know if it's the author. That is a criticism I have of the book. But with these kind of things, I'm hesitant to put a lot on the author because I think they're given an outline. I don't know. I've never been hired to work on something. So I can only imagine what it must be like. Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to hire us to write your next book for you, just tweet at us and then give us money.
I guess this is our New Year's episode now. This is a new year, a new season for Words About Books. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Get paid, get laid, Gatorade.
Nate has become a Chad. I don't think we'll ever get him back. This was admittedly kind of a phoned-in episode, but if any part of this discussion, especially the Alpha Chad Nate part of the discussion, sounded in any way fun to you, please check out our Twitch stream. We stream every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/wordsaboutbooks. You can check us out on Twitter. You can check us out on Instagram. We have a Buy Me a Coffee page at buymeacoffee.com/wordsaboutbooks. And eventually I will write something on the blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. I'll tweet about it if I do. Just follow the Twitter. I'm going to try to find an antidote for Alpha Chad. I'm not I guess I'm a computer scientist, so that means I could probably do any other kind of science as well. Yeah, screw it. I'll find an antidote for Alpha Chad. We'll get Nate back. We'll get the weak, womanly Nate we're used to back any day now. Bye.